Peace be to you all. Assalamu alaikum. This is Omar Abdul Malik, physician assistant and health educator. Whew, okay, so I'm doing an early morning run. We're down to the last few days of Ramadan. So, still working out. I'd like to have spent the night, the last 10 nights in seclusion in the masjid, but my schedule, there are some changes in my schedule. Anyway, I wanted to ask myself and you all about something which I've been pondering, and this is because I've met some of you all on online, and you even called me, and on Instagram and other Facebook and social media outlets. But it's really been interesting listening to your stories about how you're trying to get into PA school. For some of you all who have graduated, now you're trying to get that first job. It's amazing because the struggles never end. But my children are going through struggles because we're trying to help them, the older ones, transition into young adulthood, and the younger to get through preteen and early teenagehood. But how do I put this without insulting them or myself? There's a softness, there's a lack of resiliency that I see in them and myself. I think that's a reflection of myself, probably much more so than my wife. She's tough. But it made me pose the question to myself. I pose that to you guys, like, are you a softie? So maybe that's what I'll make the title of the video. Are you a softie? So that is, are you somebody who is not used to having a really hard life? And are you somebody who's not used to pushing themselves? And it's not an insult. I don't mean to insult anybody with that question, because I ask myself that question all the time, every day. When I don't feel like I can do something. Oh, I can't do this. I'm too tired. I'm too hungry. I'm too thirsty. I'm too sleepy. I don't have enough money. Am I a softie? Am I somebody who really hasn't pushed himself to reach his limit? And I find this, having been a PA for many, many years, almost 20 years, and a PA instructor. I had students who would whine. It wasn't a whole lot of them. I had very good students, alhamdulillah. But there was always those few students that were very vocal. We don't have this. How come we don't have that? Why? And I am wanting, this is too hard, and that's too hard, and it's too much information. And I noticed I would get this from a lot of, I hate to say it, American students. Because even though many of us have it hard, there's people around the world who have it much harder. I've had students from Afghanistan, Iran, Somalia, where else? Eritrea and Ethiopia. Actually, it was interesting because I had two classmates that were Eritrean and Ethiopian, and this was back when there was a war, and Eritrea, I think, got seceded and became their own country. But I've had other classmates and students that were like, look, we cannot go back to our country because they, meaning whatever government was in charge, will kill us. They will kill me and my entire family. I had classmates that had sought political asylum. And as far as the students were concerned, I found that the students who had been through the greatest hardships tended to be the most resilient, tended to complain the least. They were just happy to be here. They were like, look, what do I have to do? I have to study this? Okay, I'll study this. I found out some of them were working multiple jobs like I did just to make it through. And I think that kind of resiliency, that lack of being a softie really comes from, when you've been through hardship and you're like, listen, man, I've been as close to hell on earth as you could possibly get. Now I'm here. I was talking to somebody from one country, like, brother, we thought we see America and it's like the promised land. Everything you want here, you can have, if you work hard, brother. If you work hard, you can get it. I talked to a guy from Haiti. I think it's pronounced Haiti. He asked me what I thought poverty was. And I said, well, you don't have enough to eat. Maybe your where you live is kind of rough, like the hood. He said, let me tell you something. I'm from a country where you don't know. He was an exchange student who was granted, I think it was granted asylum here. It's a long time ago. But he said, I went days where it's like I didn't know what I was going to eat, if there was anything to eat. I was like, wow, I kind of went through that as a student, but it wasn't like, listen, this is truly a life or death kind of thing. My mom and dad, I could always kind of sponge off of them in a way. I'm like, give me $10, something. Let me get some cup of noodles or something. So I grew up protected in a way, in a large sense. And in that being protected, you're almost like a domesticated animal in a way. You don't have to have this kind of attitude where you go out like a lion, out in the Serengeti plain, where it's like kill or be killed. I have to kill for my meal today, and then fight off the jackals and the hyenas that are trying to take my kill. Versus you're in a zoo and people are feeding you lion chow or whatever they feed lions at the zoo, fresh ground meat. You get washed and bathed. You get medication when you're sick. It's just a markedly different mindset. So I wonder how many of us being the general populace who don't make it, have made it because we're soft in a way. And I do see this in my own children to a certain extent. I have to say that, because my wife and I have worked extremely hard to try to give them a very nice, protected environment. Decent house, nice neighborhood, good education, refrigerator full of food, even though they may open up the refrigerator and say, there's nothing to eat. Good morning, how are you? And I see this, again, I see this in the generations that are under me, like I think the Generation Zers, it's things like that, folks 25 and under. Not that all of you all are like that, but you might be like that to a certain extent. I know I am, is what I'm saying. So you have to address those kind of softy issues within yourself and see if that's one of the things that's hindering. Good morning. If that's hindering your progress or not, because you may kind of do yourself in. If you would just push yourself. Yeah, I struggled a lot in undergraduate. I talked to a brother, I think he was from Nigeria. He was acing the chemistry exams. And I said, how do you get such good grades in chemistry? He said, well, I'll tell you this. I come to class every day. I take all of the notes. I outline the chapter before class. Then I read over my outline. Then I do all the assigned problems. Then I do all the problems in the workbook. Then then I do them again until I know them. And that way you know it. I was like, wow. So I literally was not doing half of what he did. So I was putting in, you know, an ordinary effort, or less than ordinary effort, I would say, didn't it? But expecting extraordinary results. But and this guy in particular had a wife and kids. I was in my early 20s, so I was still single, no kids. But you know, I was living with my parents too until the age of like 23. So it was easy for me. You know, I had a safety net. I had failure. You know, you hear people saying things like failure is not an option. For me, it kind of was in a way, because I had that safety net. That didn't work out, I'll just take the course again. But I think it was due to my softness. Anyway, don't be a softie. That's all for now. Peace.